Hi everyone, Caroline here. Welcome back to Career Explorations. Today we'll be talking to Raymond Davis, who works in the field of philanthropy. Know what it means? It's a big word that applies to those with a big heart. Stay tuned to find out more about it. Philanthropy refers to charitable giving by individuals and corporations to charitable causes. Our guest, Raymond Davis, works in this wonderful field, sort of on the other side. His job is to solicit donations, either in money or time, from corporations and individuals for the university. Now, hang on for his title. Raymond Davis is an associate director for major gifts in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences with George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. Whew.
It's all about connecting people back to Mason. So in my capacity, I am a fundraiser, but I'm also a connector. So in my role, I sort of try to find where the interest of an individual sort of align with the needs of the university. And, at every university, there are a plethora of needs.
At first, Raymond's parents were concerned about his choice of career.
They always questioned my job a bit, that doesn't seem appropriate to talk to people about money.
Also, like most parents, Raymond's folks wanted him to follow a more conventional career path, like being a doctor or lawyer. For a while, Raymond went along.
For the longest time, I wanted to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. I told myself I watched Grey's Anatomy probably a little too much.
Sounds pretty far removed from fundraiser. Wonder how he ended up in that field.
Happy accidents and internships, I would say.
While studying at Walsh University, Raymond developed an interest in politics. He did an internship helping a state politician run for office. It was at this time that Raymond had an epiphany.
I realized I think I actually loved the history of politics more so than the actual politics part of it. But what I found though is I really loved talking to people, really loved getting to know folks.
This happy accident led to another one when he responded to a job posting for student callers to help raise funds for the university. Raymond did such a good job, the annual fund director asked if he would consider continuing fundraising at the university level.
And of course I said no.
Later, he changed his mind and accepted the internship.
I met some folks, which then led to a job at the University of Pittsburgh. And then from that led to another job here at George Mason.
Raymond became interested in George Mason because he liked what he called the tight-knit community atmosphere. He also found a connection with this school based on his own background.
Mason was doing a lot of great things for students from, low income, first generation college students, which, that's what I was.
Raymond was the first in his family to get a college degree.
Most of my family doesn't have high school degrees or they started college and didn't make it.
Actually, Raymond has been doing philanthropic work most of his life. As a child, he volunteered at the YMCA and his church.
I feel like my job interest was probably staring me in the face since I was in elementary school. I've always, I grew up, in the church with my family. And, it was very, very much always focused on, making sure you do good for others.
One way he does good at George Mason is by having one-on-one conversations with potential donors.
My job isn't really from right out of the gates to be like, hey, would you give us $100,000? My job really is to be like, I see that you've been giving to XYZ. Tell me more about that. It's like I'm always asking lots of questions, like, a lot of whys or have you ever considered or have you thought about this?
Raymond also finds it helpful to prepare for these conversations by reading financial and economic reports.
Is not my cup of tea. It's rather boring, but I read it because it can help inform a conversation I have with an individual potentially.
It's also a job where you're told no a lot.
I guess maybe a thick skin is the prerequisite for this job.
Fundraising is an important university job, but it's not the only way to help.
There's people who are speech writers for, the vice presidents of advancement to, even the president sometimes.
And there are those who plan alumni events.
So, for instance, we do mentorship programs at the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. And that includes this program called Link Up.
Each semester, they organize events where current undergrads meet or link up with alumni from different walks of life so they can learn more about some of their career choices when they graduate.
We hold them both virtually and in person.
Some good news and bad news regarding working in the nonprofit sector. The good news, usually, there's a shortage of fundraisers, so it should be pretty easy to find work in this area.
Not everyone can do it or wants to do it, so there's a smaller pond of potential candidates for jobs.
The bad news, one reason there aren't so many candidates is that the pay, at least initially, can be low.
See, I was making, as a student caller, I was making $6.25 an hour. And then whenever I sort of then became a staff member, I was making like $14 an hour.
Since then, Raymond's salary has gone up significantly. According to online employment marketplace company ZipRecruiter, as of 2022, the nationwide annual average salary for an entry-level nonprofit employee is $40,168.
If you do your job at a really good level and you're diligent, you can definitely move up quickly.
While it's helpful to have a bachelor's degree, Raymond says it's not a requirement. In fact, his former supervisor didn't have one.
When she initially started working at the university, that wasn't the case, and she actually got in with just an associate's degree.
Another plus, the benefits, such as healthcare and retirement options, are usually very good. Of course, these are all important things to consider, whatever career path you choose. But for Raymond, the most important thing he gets from his work is fulfillment, knowing he's helping others.
I may not see the direct impact every day, but like those days where I get to see the outcome, anytime I get to see a student who's gotten awarded a scholarship and then they write a thank you note to a donor, reading those thank you notes, always brings me joy and happiness.
Some last thoughts from Raymond.
Some great advice I got from a mentor one time was, if you're comfortable, you're never going to grow.
Raymond adds, don't be afraid to try something new, even if you make a fool of yourself at first. Just do it.
So yeah, and that's how I've gotten here, because of people giving me a chance and me willing to be in uncomfortable positions initially.
Thank you, Raymond Davis, for sharing your life experiences and good advice in the field of fundraising. See you next time.
Hey, hey.